Before the names, before the fame, before time changed every familiar face, there was a hallway at Eastland School where laughter seemed to echo forever. For many viewers, The Facts of Life was not just a sitcom. It was a weekly visit with girls who felt like friends, a house mother who felt like family, and stories that made growing up feel a little less lonely. But more than 4 decades have passed since those young faces first appeared on our screens. Some of them went on to build remarkable careers. Some quietly stepped away from Hollywood, and some left behind memories that now feel even more precious than before. Today, we look back at the cast of The Facts of Life Then and Now, not only to see how they changed, but to remember how much they once meant to us. Because behind every laugh at Eastland, there was a real life that time changed forever. Ferg Charlotte Rae. If you grew up in the 1980s, the warm, raspy voice of Mrs. Edna Garrett was the sound of safety itself. As the beloved red-headed house mother in the classic sitcom The Facts of Life, 1979, actress Charlotte Rae, born in 1926, defined a generation of television. She was the anchor for a group of young girls navigating the turbulent waters of adolescence. But behind that bright, reassuring smile on our screens lay a real life shaped by profound grace, quiet resilience, and a series of deeply personal battles that many fans never saw coming. Charlotte's path was far from easy. In her private life, she faced a painful marital tragedy when her husband of 25 years, John Strauss, came out as gay and requested an open marriage, leading to their divorce. Yet her greatest heartache was the loss of her eldest son, Andrew, who suffered from severe autism and passed away from a sudden heart attack in his mid-40s. Charlotte herself fought alcoholism, celebrating decades of hard-won sobriety, and survived pancreatic cancer. In 2017, she was diagnosed with bone cancer, choosing to face her final days with immense dignity. She passed away on August 5, 2018, at the age of 92, leaving a void in the hearts of millions. After leaving the show, Charlotte never truly walked away from her craft. She returned to her first love, the theater, earning critical acclaim and continuing to make guest appearances on television well into her 80s. She left behind a net worth estimated around $4 million, spent her final years in a modest, elegant Los Angeles home, and never cared for flashy car collections. Her true wealth was always her family and her art. Looking back from the vantage point of 2026, Mrs. Garrett remains a timeless symbol of maternal warmth. Charlotte Rae's journey reminds us that the people who comfort us on screen often carry their own heavy burdens off screen. Her life teaches us a beautiful lesson about aging. Time will inevitably change our faces and take away our youth, but a generous spirit and the ability to find joy after heartbreak are the things that keep a legacy alive forever. 2. Lisa Whelchel. If you remember Eastland School, you surely remember the wealthy, beautiful, and delightfully conceited Blair Warner. As the privileged golden girl of the hit sitcom The Facts of Life, 1979, actress Lisa Whelchel, born in 1963, spent nearly a decade embodying teenage perfection. With her perfect blonde hair and iconic catchphrase, "I just had another brilliant idea," Blair was the girl every teenager wanted to be or befriend. But as the cameras stopped rolling, the actress behind the tiara had to step into the real world, a place where life is rarely neatly scripted. Living in the intense spotlight of 1980s, teen stardom brought immense pressure, but Lisa's deepest challenges arrived later in life. She has opened up about her quiet battle with West Nile virus, a sudden health crisis that caused severe fatigue and forced her to slow down entirely. The true emotional shift, however, came in 2012. After 26 years of marriage to Pastor Stephen Cobble, the couple quietly divorced. It was a deeply personal heartache for Lisa, a woman of devout faith. Yet she handled the painful transition with remarkable grace, away from the Hollywood tabloids. After the show, Lisa chose a beautiful path of reinvention. Rather than chasing endless red carpets, she stepped back from heavy acting to raise her 3 children, reinventing herself as an author, Christian speaker, and even a reality TV star on Survivor in 2012. Today, at 63 years old in 2026, her net worth sits around $3 million. She doesn't flaunt a fleet of luxury cars. Her true wealth lies in her quiet life and her role hosting Collector's Call. For fans, she remains a cherished reminder of our youth, proving that true beauty is about resilience, not just a perfect television image. 3. Kim Fields. When we think of the Facts of Life 1979, a single image instantly flashes by. A bright, wide-eyed girl zip-zapping through Eastland School on roller skates. That was Tootie Ramsey, played by the irreplaceable Kim Fields, born May 12, 1969. Tootie wasn't just the youngest girl in the dorm, she was the heartbeat of the show. Today, in 2026, Kim Fields is 57 years old. Looking back, it feels like only yesterday we watched her grow up on screen, evolving from a gossipy preteen into a mature young woman. Growing up in front of millions is a beautiful but fragile thing. Fortunately, Kim Fields bypassed the tragic child star curse that claimed many of her contemporaries. Her challenges were subtler, the intense pressure of constant public scrutiny and navigating the complex transition from a beloved child character to a serious adult actress. She faced these hurdles with quiet resilience, managing the heavy emotional weight of the industry while keeping her personal life remarkably grounded and private. After the Facts of Life wrapped, Fields didn't fade into obscurity. Instead, she conquered Hollywood on her own terms. She starred as Regine Hunter in the hit 90s sitcom Living Single and later stepped behind the camera as a successful director. Her personal life blossomed too. While her first marriage to Jonathan Franklin ended in divorce, she found lasting happiness with actor Christopher Morgan. Together since 2007, they raised 2 beautiful sons, proving that a peaceful life after teen stardom is entirely possible. Today, Kim Fields holds an estimated net worth of around $6 million, built from decades of steady work as an actress, director, and entrepreneur. More than the wealth or a lavish lifestyle, her truest asset is her enduring place in television history. In 2026, fans still greet her with the same warmth they felt decades ago. She remains a symbol of joyful resilience, a nostalgic reminder of our own youth, and a brilliant example of how to reinvent oneself with dignity. Watching Kim Fields' journey reminds us that time moves forward, but true talent adapts. Her transition from the roller skating Tootie to a powerful Hollywood director teaches us a profound lesson. We are never defined by just one chapter of our lives. Survival in this changing world requires the willingness to grow, reinvent ourselves, and step boldly into the future. 4. Nancy McKeon, the rebel with a heart. Joe Polniaczek's journey. If Eastland School had a spark that kept it from being too comfortable, it was the girl who roared in on a motorcycle. Joe Polniacek, in The Facts of Life, 1979, was the definition of a lovable rebel. Played with unforgettable grit by Nancy McKeon, born April 4, 1966, Joe taught a generation that it was okay to be tough, blunt, and fiercely independent. Today, in 2026, Nancy McKeon is 60 years old. Seeing her today gently reminds us how quickly the fierce youth of the 1980s softens into the quiet wisdom of the present. While Joe seemed invincible on screen, Nancy McKeon's real life was touched by profound, quiet sorrow. She avoided the typical pitfalls of early fame, but the emotional toll of the industry was heavy. Her deepest heartbreak arrived in 2019 with the tragic, sudden loss of her older brother, Philip McKeon, who was also a beloved child star. This devastating loss deeply altered her world, shifting her focus entirely away from the glitz of Hollywood to private healing and family solidarity. After The Facts of Life ended, McKeon proved her range in powerful TV movies and landed a prominent role on the Lifetime drama division. However, Hollywood was never her final destination. Choosing love over the spotlight, she married presenter Mark Andrus in 2003 and moved to a ranch in Texas. There, she stepped away from the cameras to raise her 2 daughters in peace, trading the chaotic red carpets for a grounded, fulfilling life close to nature. Today, Nancy McKeon holds an estimated net worth of roughly $2 million. She doesn't flaunt a lavish lifestyle or a massive car collection. Her true wealth lies in the enduring respect of her peers and fans. In 2026, Her portrayal of Jo remains a gold standard for complex female characters on television. She is remembered not just as a nostalgic face, but as a symbol of authentic, unpretentious strength that still resonates with audiences today. Looking back at Nancy McKeon's path, we see that the rebellious spirit of youth eventually seeks the comfort of peace and family. Her life offers a beautiful lesson. True success isn't about staying under the spotlight forever. It is about having the courage to step back, protect your peace, and redefine happiness on your own terms as the years roll by. 5. Mindy Cohn. There was one character in The Facts of Life, 1979, who taught us that confidence is the most beautiful thing a person can wear. That was Natalie Green, the bubbly, aspiring writer of Eastland School. Brought to life by the wonderfully talented Mindy Cohn, born May 20th, 1966, Natalie was the friend we all wanted. Today, in 2026, Mindy Cohn is 60 years old. Looking at her now, we are instantly reminded of how quickly time flies, yet how some souls never lose their luminous, joyful glow. Behind that famous, infectious smile, Mindy Cohn fought a battle that she kept hidden from the public for a very long time. For 5 painful years, she waged a private war against breast cancer, enduring a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. It was a dark, exhausting period that left her physically shattered, but she chose to face the diagnosis with a quiet, fierce determination, completely away from the prying eyes of Hollywood tabloids. Mindy survived, and her career took an incredible, nostalgic turn. She didn't leave showbiz. Instead, she became the definitive voice of Velma Dinkley in the Scooby-Doo franchise for over a decade. Choosing a fulfilling life over Hollywood drama, she never married or had children, focusing her energy instead on deep friendships, LGBTQ+ advocacy, and surviving with absolute grace. Today, Mindy Cohn holds a well-earned net worth of around $1 million. She doesn't own a flashy car collection or live in an ostentatious mansion. Her wealth is measured by her survival and her artistry. In 2026, she is deeply cherished by fans as a symbol of body positivity and sheer resilience. Mindy Cohn's journey from the cheerful Natalie to a brave cancer survivor shows us that the brightest smiles often hide the heaviest burdens. Her life teaches us a beautiful lesson. No matter what hardships time throws our way, maintaining our inner joy and humor is the ultimate victory. 6. Cloris Leachman. When a beloved show enters its later years, it takes a special kind of magic to keep the hearth warm. In The Facts of Life, 1979, that magic arrived in the form of Beverly Ann Stickle, the eccentric, deeply affectionate mother figure who stepped in to look after the girls. The woman behind her was none other than the legendary Cloris Leachman, born April 30th, 1926. When she joined the cast, she brought a whirlwind of comedic energy. Looking back today, we realize she wasn't just playing a part, she was sharing a piece of her boundless soul. Cloris Leachman lived a life as vibrant and fierce as any of her characters, but time eventually catches up with the brightest stars. On January 27, 2021, at the grand age of 94, she passed away peacefully in her sleep at her home in Encinitas, California. The official causes were a stroke and complications from COVID-19. It was a quiet, poignant end for a woman who had spent nearly a century making the world laugh, leaving fans deeply moved by the sudden silence of her great voice. Unlike many who slow down in their twilight years, Cloris never truly left Hollywood. After the show, she continued to conquer television, winning an Emmy for Malcolm in the Middle and competing on Dancing with the Stars at age 82. Her personal life had its share of quiet storms, including a long-past divorce from George England in 1979 and the tragic loss of her son, Brian, in 1986. Yet, she channeled her grief into her craft, acting right up until her final days. At the time of her passing, Cloris Leachman left behind an estimated net worth of around $10 million, a testament to a career spanning over 7 decades. She left no flashy car collections, just an unmatched record of 8 Primetime Emmy Awards and an Oscar. In 2026, her place in the hearts of audiences remains completely untouched. She is remembered not just as Beverly Ann, but as a master class in resilience, humor, and pure devotion to the stage. Remembering Cloris Leachman teaches us that aging is not the fading of the light, but the deepening of its color. Her journey through the changing eras of Hollywood leaves us with a profound lesson. To live fully means to keep laughing, keep creating, and never let the world dim your spark, no matter how many years fly by. 7. Mackenzie Astin. Every family dynamic needs a little brother to stir up harmless trouble, and in The Facts of Life, 1979, that was Andy Moffat. The foster kid with a heart of gold and a series of hilarious get-rich-quick schemes was brought to life by Mackenzie Astin, born May 12, 1973. Entering the show as a charming preteen, he grew up right before our eyes. Today, in 2026, Mackenzie Astin is 53 years old. Looking back, his youthful antics remind us how quickly the sweet innocence of the 1980s transformed into the steady passage of time. Growing up in the spotlight is never easy, especially when you belong to acting royalty. As the son of Patty Duke and John Astin, Mackenzie faced immense unspoken pressure to live up to his family's legendary name. While he stayed away from the highly publicized downfalls of other child stars, he quietly battled the emotional weight and anxiety of finding his own identity under the heavy shadow of his parents' massive fame, a silent struggle that deeply shaped his early adult years. After The Facts of Life concluded, Astin did not abandon his craft. Instead, he transitioned into a respected working character actor, appearing in projects like Iron Will, Homeland, and The Magicians. He chose a life of steady artistry over fleeting superstardom. In his personal life, he found true, quiet stability far away from the chaotic Hollywood drama, marrying his wife, Jennifer Abbott Bouts, in 2011. Together, they have built a peaceful, private life grounded in love. Today, Mackenzie Astin holds an estimated net worth of roughly $5 million, earned through decades of dedicated work on television and film. He does not flaunt a flashy car collection or live an ostentatious lifestyle. His true fortune is his reputation as a reliable, humble artist. In 2026, fans still view him with deep affection. He remains a cherished piece of our collective childhood memory, representing the enduring comfort of a familiar face. Mackenzie Astin's journey from the energetic young Andy to a mature, grounded actor reminds us that life is not about outshining your past, but about growing into your own skin. His path teaches us a beautiful lesson. True fulfillment comes from embracing who you are, working steadily at your passion, and finding peace outside of the roaring crowd. 8. George Clooney. Before he became a global icon, he was the charming, mulleted handyman who helped rebuild Edna's Edibles. In The Facts of Life, 1979, George Burnett was the ultimate neighborhood heartthrob. Played by none other than George Clooney, born May 6, 1961, George brought a rugged, boyish charm to the screen. Today, in 2026, George Clooney is 65 years old. Looking back at his time on the show, it is mesmerizing to realize that the modest handyman we fell in love with would eventually conquer the world. Though he radiates effortless charisma today, Clooney's early years were filled with quiet struggles. In his youth, he battled Bell's palsy, a condition that temporarily paralyzed his face and left him vulnerable to bullying. Later, as a struggling actor in Hollywood, he faced years of exhausting rejections and failed pilots. The intense pressure to make it big took a toll, but these hidden hardships ultimately forged the incredible resilience that would later define his golden career. After leaving the show, Clooney's trajectory went vertical. He became a superstar on ER, transitioned into an Oscar-winning filmmaker, and became a global humanitarian. His personal life evolved just as beautifully. Following an early divorce from Talia Balsam in 1993, he remained Hollywood's most eligible bachelor for decades. That changed in 2014 when he married human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin. Today, they raise their twins far from the chaotic paparazzi, choosing a life of deep purpose. In 2026, George Clooney's estimated net worth stands at an astonishing $500 million, bolstered by his film career and the historic sale of his Casamigos tequila brand. His vast wealth includes an exquisite collection of classic cars, vintage motorbikes, and his famous villa on Lake Como. Yet, his truest legacy is his enduring position in the hearts of audiences. He remains the ultimate modern gentleman, admired as much for his philanthropy as his cinematic brilliance. George Clooney's journey from a small screen handyman to a global icon reminds us that a slow start can still lead to a magnificent destination. His life teaches us a timeless lesson: patience, resilience, and the willingness to reinvent yourself are what truly turn temporary moments into an everlasting legacy. 9. Molly Ringwald. Before she became the undisputed queen of 1980s teen cinema, she was a sweet, guitar-strumming girl in a school uniform. In the first season of The Facts of Life, 1979, Molly Parker was the social-minded, cheerful student we all fell in love with. Played by the iconic Molly Ringwald, born February 18, 1968, she brought a tender, relatable innocence to Eastland School. Today, in 2026, Molly Ringwald is 58 years old. It is deeply nostalgic to look back at her early television roots and see how a brief, quiet role blossomed into a generation-defining stardom. While her swift departure from the show after season 1 shocked fans, it set her up for an overwhelming wave of global fame. Becoming the muse for John Hughes brought immense pressure. Ringwald quietly battled the suffocating anxiety of being a teenage role model, constantly hunted by paparazzi. The intense industry scrutiny and the fear of being forever typecast took a heavy emotional toll, forcing her to make the brave choice to step out of the Hollywood bubble to protect her mental health and find herself. Seeking peace, Ringwald famously moved to France in the 1990s, stepping away from the mainstream Hollywood machine to act in foreign films and live a normal life. She later returned to American television, reinventing herself as a respected author, jazz singer, and mature actress in hits like The Secret Life of the American Teenager and Riverdale. After a brief early marriage to Valerie Lamanière ended in divorce, she found lasting love with Panyo Giannopoulos in 2007. Together, they raised 3 beautiful children in a quiet, cultured home. Today, Molly Ringwald holds an estimated net worth of around $11 million, built from her diverse, decades-long career across film, music, and literature. She does not flaunt a flashy lifestyle or luxury car collections. Her true fortune is her permanent place in pop culture history. In 2026, she is revered not just as a nostalgic icon, but as a symbol of artistic survival. Fans still look at her with deep affection, remembering the sweet girl who grew up with grace. 10. Gary Jewell history on television is often made quietly, but sometimes it arrives with a brilliant, unforgettable smile. In The Facts of Life, 1979, Blair's cousin, Jerry Tyler, walked onto the screen and permanently changed the landscape of Hollywood. Played by the groundbreaking Jerry Jewell, born September 13, 1956, she became the first person with a visible disability to feature in a recurring role on primetime television. Today, in 2026, Jerry Jewell is 69 years old. Looking back at her performance, we don't just see a character, we witness a monumental moment of pure human triumph. Living with cerebral palsy from birth, Jerry's life has been defined by fierce resilience, but the road behind her famous comedy sets was paved with silent, staggering pain. Beyond her physical disability, she faced immense, systemic discrimination within the industry, navigating a world completely unequipped for her. The pressure of carrying the representation of an entire community on her shoulders took a massive emotional toll. Later in life, she also survived a severe, life-threatening spinal cord injury that required grueling surgery and years of quiet, painful rehabilitation. When her time on the sitcom ended, the industry doors closed prematurely, and Jerry faced years of financial hardship. Yet, she refused to disappear. She made a triumphant return to television in HBO's acclaimed Western Deadwood as Jewel, proving her artistic depth once again. Her personal life underwent deep, transformative chapters too. In her candid 2011 autobiography, she came out as a lesbian, finally stepping into her absolute truth. Choosing peace over chaotic fame, she transitioned into a powerful motivational speaker, dedicating her life to advocating for disability rights. Today, Jerry Jewell holds an estimated net worth of roughly $1 million. Her wealth cannot be measured by a flashy lifestyle or expensive car collections. It lives in the profound social barriers she shattered for future generations of actors. In 2026, her position in the hearts of audiences is deeply sacred. She is revered not merely as a nostalgic face from a classic 80s show, but as a legendary pioneer who taught the world to see the capability, humor, and beauty within disability. 11. Sherry Austin. In the final season of The Facts of Life, 1979, a fresh breeze blew in from the southern hemisphere, bringing a playful, rebellious charm to Eastland School. That was Pippa McKenna, the exchange student from Australia. Played by the vibrant, multi-talented Sherry Austin, born August 28, 1970, Pippa breathed new life into the iconic series. Today, in 2026, Sherry Austin is 55 years old. Looking back, her bright energy reminds us of that bittersweet final chapter of a beloved era, just before the 80s slipped away into memory. Stepping into a historic, long-running sitcom during its final hour carries a unique and silent pressure. Sherry Austin had to fit seamlessly into a tight-knit family of characters that audiences had loved for nearly a decade. She navigated this intense industry expectation with quiet grace. Yet, the rapid shift from a teenage actress in Australia to a primetime star in Hollywood brought its own hidden anxieties as she constantly had to prove her worth under a looming, unfamiliar spotlight. After the show wrapped, Austin made a bold, life-changing decision. She walked away from Hollywood, acting to pursue her truest passion, music. Moving to Nashville, she successfully reinvented herself as a country singer-songwriter, releasing charting hits like Streets of Heaven. She also became an acclaimed songwriter for other massive country artists. Choosing artistic fulfillment over temporary Hollywood fame, she kept her private life beautifully grounded, avoiding the typical public relationship dramas of the industry. Today, Sherry Austin holds an estimated net worth of around $2 million, built from her dual career in acting and music royalty. She doesn't own a flashy car collection, measuring her wealth instead through her rich catalog of songs. In 2026, her position in the hearts of fans remains deeply special. She is remembered not only as the charming Aussie from The Facts of Life, but as a brave artist who successfully rewrote her own destiny in Nashville. 12. Julie Ann Haddock. Before the show settled into its famous core four, the halls of Eastland School belonged to a different group of girls. Among them was Cindy Webster, the athletic, sweet-natured tomboy of the first season of The Facts of Life, 1979. Played by Julie Ann Haddock, born April 3, 1965, Cindy was a refreshing burst of youthful energy. Today, in 2026, Julie Ann Haddock is 61 years old. Looking back at her brief time on our screens feels like uncovering a hidden photograph, a nostalgic glimpse into the very beginning of a legendary era. When the sitcom shifted focus after season 1, Julie Ann was quietly written off, a sudden transition that brings its own silent heartbreak. Navigating the competitive world of Hollywood as a young teenager requires immense emotional resilience. While she successfully avoided the highly publicized downward spirals of her peers, she had to quietly process the abrupt end of a major television chapter, carrying the heavy pressure of a shifting identity away from the cameras. Following her departure, Haddock made a few brief appearances on shows like Wonder Woman, but she ultimately chose a profound shift. She left Hollywood permanently to seek a normal, grounded life. Choosing privacy over fleeting stardom, she stepped into the corporate world and dedicated herself to her family, becoming a mother and a music coordinator at her local church. She quietly built a life of lasting fulfillment, far removed from the chaotic neon lights of the entertainment industry. Today, Julianne Haddock's estimated net worth is roughly $1 million. She doesn't possess an extravagant lifestyle or a luxury car collection. Her true fortune lies in the peace of her anonymity and a happy home. In 2026, her position in the hearts of classic television fans remains uniquely special. She is fondly remembered as a vital piece of the show's foundation, a gentle reminder of the early innocence that started it all. In the end, The Facts of Life was never only about a school, a dormitory, or a group of girls growing up together. It was about the small lessons that stay with us long after childhood is gone. How friendship can soften difficult days, how mistakes can become wisdom, and how the people who guide us can leave a mark that lasts a lifetime. Looking back at this cast then and now, we see more than changing faces. We see the passing of time. We see young actors who grew into full lives, legends who gave us comfort, and beloved stars who are no longer here, but still remain part of television history. And maybe that is the real lesson of the show. Life changes, people move on, but the moments that made us feel understood never truly disappear. And we would love to hear from you. Which character from The Facts of Life felt closest to your own life? What lesson from the show do you still remember today? And which cast member's journey touched you the most? Please share your memories in the comments below. And if this video brought back a piece of your youth, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still remembers the warmth of Eastland School.